Well, good afternoon, folks. It's wet, foggy, rather humid, close when you're walking, and I'm here in a forest on high mountains, and the mist is coming down right now. But today is St. Valentine's Day. St. Valentino was a 3rd century Roman saint commemorated in Western Christianity on the 14th of February and in the Eastern Orthodox on July the 6th. From the High Middle Ages, his saint's day has been associated with a tradition of courting and love. He is also a patron saint of tyranny, epilepsy and beekeepers, believe it or not. I'm just referring to a note here off camera. Saint Valentine was a clergyman, either a priest or a bishop in the Roman Empire, who ministered to persecuted Christians. He was martyred and his body buried on Via Flaminia on the February the 14th, which has been observed as the feast day of St. Valentine since the 8th century. So today, on St. Valentine's Day, a day of love and courting and subjects like that, I'm here on the mountains. Couldn't get out this morning because I had a meeting early on in Cork, but I got out in the afternoon, and it's very mild. It's getting pretty stuffy and wet right now, but nevertheless I'm in the great outdoors, and that's all that matters. So on St. Valentine's Day, I'll trot on a little bit further. Now folks, another question. Sorry, before I go to that subject, I've just been looking down at a great big valley down there. Quite a drop off just behind me over my left and right shoulder. Quite a drop off into rather heavy vegetation. Anyway, another question that I've been asked again. I was asked this when I walked over the 6 days on the St. Declan's Way. People had seen me once or twice with earbuds in. I rarely listen to anything when I'm out walking. Okay, I have done so, not very often. But people are now asking me, what kind of music do I listen to? Do you listen to anything? Radio, news, music, e-books, whatever, when you're on these extended walks? Look, I'll be quite honest and frank with you all. I rarely listen to anything when I'm walking. I have the phone here. I don't have the headsets. I don't have the buds. My kind of music, I love all kinds of music. I love cinematic music, orchestral cinematic music. Why? Well, the amount of multimedia work and digital filming, etc. that I do, I obviously have an affinity with that. But chiefly, the music that I absolutely love, adore, follow, record, maintain, keep is electronic trance music. That's trance, trance music, as in a trance. I have been listening to electronic trance music, EDM, which is electronic dance music. It's another way of describing it, EDM, but I prefer to know it as electronic trance music. I have been listening to electronic trance music for probably 20 years, probably maybe a couple of years, more than 20 years. It's hugely popular in Eastern Europe, and it's been proven over the past few years that people that suffer somewhat or a great lot from depression tend to find their mood swings improve and their mental health takes a turn for the best. I don't use or like electronic dance music or trance music, whichever you want to call it, for the purpose of eliminating depression. I don't have depression. I have a down day, I might have a down night, and it just dissipates with a bit of positivity. But that is the music that I above all music, electronic trance music. Well, you were all probably wondering, would a day ever arrive when Jim would get wet on one of his walks? And lo and behold, on the shortest walk for many, many months, I'm getting wet. Well, I'm not getting wet, but it's raining. But as I say, it's so still. Everything is just so still here. It's quite mild, sort of sticky and humid. But today, on Valentine's Day 2024, the 14th of February, afternoon rain, as I partake in my venture to Highwoods. But you probably know that this rain is not going to prevent me from continuing on my merry way. Well, I've come out of the trees and the great cover of the mature forest, and I'm here on an exposed hillside, and I'm now really feeling the wet. Another question that I was asked by one of you was, do I relax my mind a lot when I'm walking? Now, you may not believe this, but on 2 occasions over many years I have tried to take up meditation, and on both counts it failed. And I would love to embrace meditation, I really would, but I have a super active bloody mind, and it's very, very hard to slow it down or bring it to some sort of a civilized pace. But do you really want to know what can bring my mind and the galloping speed of thoughtfulness into my head? Is walking. Excuse me. Walking is the only activity that I can truly say to you all that I can relax in mind and body. I'm expending a lot of energy when I'm walking, of course, but my mind is at an absolute snail's pace. So how about that? Walking does so much for me. Trying my hand at meditation, people trying their hand at trying to get me to meditate rather, failed. Two different professional people, one in Australia and one here, couldn't do it. The walk continues at pace. The rain has lifted off for the moment, but looking upwards towards the heavens, there's a sky laden with rain. But we won't worry about that. As I said to you earlier on, it's only water. Speaking of water, listen. Apart from the jet in the skies above my head, we have the sounds of a running and gushing water here to my right hand side. This is very relaxing. The acoustics here are very relaxing. Once again, I have this forest to myself today. There's not a sign of a human being. In addition to the acoustics of running water, it is spring. It's the second week or so of the season of spring. And there's an abundance of bird life and the chirping of same. It's so relaxing in the mind when you stop and listen to that and the bird life right around. This is medication for the body and for the soul. And I love it. I followed this stream down quite a bit from where I came from the field into the woods, and as you can hear, the rapids are becoming more pronounced the further down I get towards the end of the valley. But that's awfully relaxing. There's not a sound anywhere else. Even the sound of the water beneath me drowns out the bird sounds overhead. But everything is so still right now. The water's on its merry way from my right to my left, in search of the next river. And I'll continue on my way in search of my next destination. As I walked along here by this stream, which is for certain becoming a small river and ultimately becoming a big river, I'm thinking about the pursuits that some people have to find peace and quiet. A lot of you read books. I think actually the reading of books is number one on the list of things to find peace and quiet in your life. Walking is in there. I think it's third or fourth. Walking for me is Ibrahim, number one. Will always be Ibrahim, number one. Now, whatever your pursuits in your search for peace and quiet and probably happiness, I would advise you, or I would advise you to concentrate on doing it, because we need to get away from this hustle and bustle world that we're in, and all the emotions of becoming depressed because of it. Find the spaces, the things, the hobbies that you can embrace and give you that peace and quiet. Nature, to me, would be one of the prime qualities. It's not easy to find at times. People shy away from bad weather and not getting out of bed and so forth. Find the reasons and the excuses not to partake in whatever it is you feel you're content and happy with. If you like reading, read. If you like music, listen. If you like going to the cinema, do so. If you like walking, certainly do that, and I'm biased in that respect. But walking affords me absolutely everything with little cost, just effort. And I find effort like breathing oxygen, like I told you a few weeks ago. Right behind me and below me, the acoustics of water. How relaxing is that? Coupled with the chirping of a multitude of birds. So your mind and your well-being must affiliate itself with things like this. Well, I've arrived here at a beautiful beech forest. Laid bare, the trees have been laid bare of leaves since autumn and winter, and there's an absolute heavy covering of leaves on the floor. But I've arrived in here and I've sat myself just over there on a wet log, so my posterior is rather damp at the moment, and I just listened to the bird life. There is no sound of any outside interference here. It's so peaceful. And once again, if I can hark back and tell you, this is the medication that we all need in the modern day. Getting away from the racket. You know, walking in here, it's very easy to think and feel that you're the only one in the world. Well, I'm the only one in my world. And the weather has brightened up in spite of all the rain. Just going over here to a great big tree, because there's a profusion of bird sounds coming from same. So I'll have to be quiet when I get over here. and let us all savor the delights of nature. A lot of people will say to you, or say to me, let's be positive. It's all fine and very well telling somebody to be positive. But when people go through the enormities of strife and stress and grief and bereavement and all the economic disasters that can hit individuals and families, it's awfully difficult to find some positivity in your life. What am I trying to say to you? Fix my cap first. I find being positive when I'm out and about, no problem. Absolutely no problem. My mind is clear. When your mind is clear, you can actually dig right deep in and find the source of the issues that can drive you into negative and depressive thoughts and moods. The walking, my walking, let me keep it in moi, in my context. I find when I walk and I return home after 1 hour, 2 hours, or half a day, or whatever, 2 days, I find that my mood swings are absolutely different. My mind is free. I can see things more clearly. I'm more tolerant. I'm actually quieter, more reserved, and I'm not greatly opinionated. I put all that down and contribute it to my walking. It's the time out and about, savoring the delights of nature, savoring the delights of silence, peace and quiet, looking at different things on the landscape. When I walk, I get all the benefits of walking. I didn't set out originally so many years ago walking to find a benefit from it. It's over many years it's materialized into a psychological and physical health benefit for me, and now I do more and more of it, and God knows there's a great lot of walking going to happen this year, and there's one coming up very shortly. So in a roundabout way, I'm saying to you, people tell you to be positive. It's fine, people telling you to be positive. You can embrace the suggestion, be positive, Jim. But when you look at the strife and the depression and the worry and the intolerance that people are trying to get through in their lives, it's very hard to find positivity in the ingredients of life when you have stuff like that going on. And a lot of people in the modern day Ireland and in the modern day world have so much going on in their lives, and everything is doing the opposite to promote good health. It's actually bringing people to the floor. One other thing, if you find yourself constantly bombarded with negative thoughts, and positivity cannot be sourced at any length. Negativity will attract negativity, will attract more negativity, and before you know who you are, you're swamped with negative thoughts, and you begin to stifle in all the things that you think are wrong and cannot be fixed, rectified, or sorted out in your life. And eventually you turn into some sort of a depressive person. So you need to be aware of that. Negativity and depression, in my opinion, first cousins. Difficult to separate from the exact opposite of positivity and living your life. So you need to find a way around living your life So finally, folks, I'm going to bid you all good afternoon. It's far too wet now to have technology of an expensive nature here in my paw with the elements pouring down on it. They're fine for a certain amount of moisture, but the moisture we're having now has increased in volume. So I think it's time to say good afternoon to you all. And once again, thank you for tagging along with me. So finally, wishing you all a very, 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 very happy romantic St. Valentine's Day and evening. I have another big walk coming up in a very, very short period of time. So we'll get stuck into that together. So folks, have a good evening. Take care. Happy Valentine's Day to you all. Bye-bye.